supposed to hear me. Okay, and I'll double check just to make sure.
Yeah, this time at least the message is not popping up.
Okay.
So, we were having a little bit of issues with the audio. Let me see if anybody is on here now. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Good morning again, everybody. I'm excited about this Ignite session. We're gonna be doing sessions 7, 8, and 9. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Let me close the door. How are you doing? I'm good. Thank you. So in session 7, in our lesson 7, we're going to discuss where to find buyers, how to qualify and schedule buyers for the consultation, and how to conduct the buyer need analysis. During this session, I'm also going to attempt, I don't know why that's, I'm going to also attempt to walk you through how to find a buyer consultation manual. It's very easy. They're out there in Command, and they're also in KW Connect. So you can just edit them, personalize them, or whatever. So if we have time, we'll go through that later on. Okay. And then we're also going to talk about how to close with the buyer agency agreement. So this is something that's the key right there. You can have all the consultations you want, but if you don't close for the agreement, then you don't have buyers. So let's get started. I'm going to bring up the student manual just in case there are some of you who do not have that. So bear with me 1 minute and let me pull that up and then do a share screen. How many of you have done your 10-4, your daily 10-4? So you're supposed to be adding 10 names to your database. You should be making 10 new connections. You should be writing 10 notes, and that's daily. And then every week you should be previewing 10 homes just to get a feel for what's out here in the market. So those are things that each one of you should be doing on a daily basis. Those are your activities and your assignments that you should be doing. Those are the things that are going to get your business going. If you're not doing those, if you're not building your database and nurturing your database, then your business is going to be non-existent, or at least at minimal, very low and slow. So, and it just depends on the type of business you're trying to build, but we want you to make sure that you're doing those things. So I am going to do a share screen here. How? And I'm going to put up the student manual so you can follow along. If you don't have a manual, you can follow along on the screen. Okay, so again, please make sure that you're doing your daily activities. You need to be, again, 10 contacts added to your database, making 10 connections, writing 10 thank you notes, gratitude notes, and getting them into the hands of the person you're writing them to, and then previewing 10 homes every week. So since no one is here, we're not going to do the lead generation, but I really, really, really want you all to make sure that you're spending some time every day generating. So you need to be making phone calls. The way that I started was I sent a text message to everybody in my cell phone. I sent a text message and let them know, hey, just let you know that I am just starting a real estate business. I just got my license. I am so excited, and I would be so appreciative if you would help me build my business by letting me know who you know that's interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate. Most of the information, most of the people that responded with renters at first, and I tried, I did what I could to try to help renters as well. But within probably the first couple of months, eventually I started getting referrals from family and friends that were in my cell phone for buyers and sellers. So that's how I started my business. And that's the easiest thing to do, is to just text or call or do a video text or something to everybody in your cell phone. And really a personal voice call is the easiest. It's more personal, but of course, you can do it either way. Right now, texting is the way to go, it seems. And so that's, very acceptable. You have your scripts here. Please make sure that you're reviewing these scripts, internalizing these scripts, personalizing these scripts. If you want to contact renters. Hi, my name is April with Keller Williams Realty, and I was wondering if you've considered buying a home for yourself or your family sometime in the near future. Owning a home is a goal for most people and continues to be a good investment. Have you wondered about the costs and the process to get into a home of your own? I found that some people don't think they can afford to buy their own home and that they may be able to buy a home for almost the same amount as they are paying in monthly rent. I would love to sit down with you and explain the process of owning your own home. It's no obligation on your part. Would you like to meet me tomorrow for 15 minutes? And I've done similar scripts. You could take them to a coffee shop. You could take them to, somewhere and order appetizers or whatever, or you can invite them to the office. Maybe you can meet them at their home if that's what they're comfortable with. But you want to just 15 minutes is all you want to just, tell them the basics of home ownership and how the process works for buying a home. You're not doing a buyer consult per se. You just want to kind of get a feel for whether they're really interested or not, telling them what it is that you would be happy to do for them. Once they say yes, they are interested, that's when you want to set the appointment for the buyer consultation. Never, never, never end a meeting without closing for something, closing for the next appointment. Okay, so read through these scripts and familiarize yourself with that. And again, just remember, please, 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 the activities that are in your book are very important. Those are the things that are going to get your business growing. So you can, let's see, somebody in the waiting room. Yes, they are. So you can, we're on page 10 in the manual. Hi, Ann. How are you doing? Can you hear me?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
That's good. I've already started. I'm on page 10 in your manual. If you don't have the manual, that's why I have it up on the screen in case anybody doesn't have the manual.
Okay.
All right. And my name is April Fortune. I've been with Keller Williams now for about 3.5, almost 4 years. Ooh, next month will be 4 years that I've been with Keller Williams. Started out part-time for almost a year, then went full-time, and I've been full-time now for almost 3 years. So this is what I do all the time, and I'm just excited. I love real estate. How long have you been with Keller Williams, and how long have you had your license, Ann? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Ann? Can you hear me? Ann, if you can hear me, I was asking how long have you had your license and how long have you been with Keller Williams?
I've had my license for about 5 years, but I've been inactive.
Okay. So how long have you been in the office with Keller Williams?
And with Keller Williams since October.
Okay, okay, awesome. Okay, so now we're on page 10, get your head in the game. Clearly establishing the process of finding and buying a home and working with your buyers as a coordinated team is the best way to work effectively and efficiently to close as many buyers as possible. You want to get them to the closing table and close the deal. So finding the buyers is simple, servicing buyers is inexpensive, and earning with buyers is quick. And the reason that this is because finding a buyers, it's not hard to find buyers to work with. There are buyers out there all the time. You could go to open houses. If you work in open house, buyers are always coming through open houses. Most of them do not have an agent. So if you connect with them properly and you follow up with them, those are potential buyers for you. Sharing your KW app. Buyers are everywhere at all times, essentially raising their hands and saying, work with me, especially if you find them at an open house, okay? And I strongly encourage everyone to work open houses as much as possible. Servicing buyers is inexpensive because you're not having to market, you're not having to do a lot of the things that you do when you have a listing. You're just kind of pretty much going through the MLS looking for the home that fits their needs and taking them out to show them the home. So the most expensive thing you're paying for is your gas in your car to drive around, to preview homes and then driving them to see the homes. So apart from the gas you'll put in your car as you show homes, your expenses are very, very low. And then earning with buyers is quick because if you do it right in a great buyer transaction, you can help that person find a home and write an offer in 1 day. If you do your research properly, and if your buyer is shares with you their true desires for home ownership, then when you find that perfect home for them, you can write an offer and have that offer accepted in 24, 48 hours. So earning with buyers is quick because once you have an offer accepted, within 30 to 45 days, you're at the closing table. And sometimes sooner, depending on if it's a cash buyer. So covering your buyer lead to a signed buyer agreement is an important step in the process. Each step of the process requires you to build and cultivate the relationship. So these are your leads at the top of the funnel. And now we're at the stage of appointments. As you see, you have less because everybody that you talk to is not going to be ready to buy. So everybody that you talk to, so all your leads are not going to convert to appointments, especially not right away. Now, some of them may eventually, but not right away. So now we're here with your appointments. Once you have the appointment, you want to close to get the agreement signed, the buyer's agency agreement signed. Okay, that everybody's not going to sign. Everybody that you have an appointment with is not going to sign that buyer agency agreement. So now we're in the lower part of the funnel where you have your agreements. Then everybody that signs an agreement does not immediately go under contract. And then once you have everybody at those under contract, everybody does not immediately close. So that's why the funnel is the way it is. So, bear with me 1 minute. I'm going to stop the share screen for a minute because I want to share. Yeah, that's what we want to share. So we were having issues with Zoom earlier, so now I've got to get everything back set up. Bear with me. Okay. Talked about your daily 10-4, and again, just remember to do your activities. And we're getting ready to. So you want to, part of your market search is going to be previewing those 10 homes every week. That's part of your market search. You want to preview the homes, but you don't want to just walk around the homes. You want to take notes to what you see, you know, when you go into home number 2, what's the difference between home number 1 and home number 2, especially if they're in the same price point. You know, take mental note, take notes, take a notepad and a pen with you and take notes so that when you do start having buyers, you know what the market has, you know what the market is doing, you know what price point. If somebody says they want a $150,000 home with 4 beds, 3 baths in, you know, particular areas, and you know that's just not going to happen, you know, so that you have to be able to know how to navigate through that. So we're going to watch this video next. Okay. Bear with me, I'm sorry. And do you have any questions for me as I'm setting up this video?
No, I'm just following along in the book right now.
Okay, I'm getting ready, if I can figure out how to get back to my page, I'm going to start a video.
Okay.
I am recording this, just so you'll know it is being recorded, just so anybody who wasn't able to show up today will be able to watch the recording. And I'm feeling really bad because I got it recording and I cannot get back to my.
Okay, if you're recording it, I might have to log off and log back in at a certain time,
Okay,
but I can get the part that I missed from the recording.
okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Trying to get back to the share screen. I'm sorry. Here we go, here we go. Here we go, here's the video. Move that out of the way.
What do I mean by find the motivated? Turning a warm lead into a closed client. The first tip is when you find someone, you want to ask for the business. Let's say you're at a party and your friend is pregnant. You can always say, hey, it looks like you need a bigger house. Or you're out and about and you see this big, beautiful diamond ring and not the full wedding ring. You can say, hey, it looks like you just got engaged. Congratulations. When are you buying your next house? And then I always ask, when are you ready to buy? When are you looking to move into your new house? What are those underlying tips of motivation that will tip you off to having a client that's ready to do business now versus a year from now? Tip number 2, ask for the appointment. Have a calendar or your smartphone ready to say, I have availability tomorrow at 2 or the next day at 4. Which one would work for you? Book the appointment when you meet someone who's ready to do business. Tip number 3, so now you've got the appointment, you want to pre-qualify that appointment by using scripts. Ask questions such as, have you met with the lender that I referred you to the other day? To make sure that they have their price range in mind when they're meeting with you to buy a home, and that you know they're able to sell a home or that they're motivated by a desire to have another outcome, like maybe they're relocating or they're downsizing their home. There has to be some motivation level to continue forward with the appointment. Tip number 4, use embedded commands. When you get in front of the people face to face at your appointment, you want to be talking embedded command language, such as, when you're comfortable and confident that I can sell your home, then we'll sign the contract tonight. If you're using that language throughout your hour or half an hour appointment, they'll be more comfortable when they get to the end and they'll sign that contract and then you can move forward. The last step is you sign them up and now it's your goal to get a referral. When you're in conversation with them on the phone, in the car, at the closing, use questions. Who else do you know that's looking to buy a home, sell a house, or invest in real estate that I can call today? If you keep saying this throughout the process, you'll find yourself turning more of your current clients into referral business that will generate lots of easy sales for you. So go out there and find the motivated and have a great day.
All righty. So we're talking about finding the motivated seller, motivated buyers, my bad. We're talking about finding the motivated buyers. Buyers are out there raising their hands. There are so many buyers out there that, they just don't know what the market is doing. A lot of buyers don't know what it takes to buy a home. And so, it's our job as real estate agents to educate and inform so that we can prepare people who want to buy a home to be ready to buy a home. Okay, So let me pull up let me go back to our manual. Pull that back up. I'm getting it now. I don't want to do a split screen. Hold on. Okay, so remember that your number one job is lead generating. In this case, it's lead generating for buyers. Later, you'll learn about lead generating for sellers. But in this case, we're talking about lead generating for buyers. After all, you cannot work with buyers if you don't have any buyers. If you're not talking to people, finding out who those people are that are ready to buy, then you're not going to be able to have buyers. The NAR report states that there's 88% of buyers that purchase their home through a real estate agent. 88% of all buyers purchase their home through a real estate agent. 40% of buyers found their agent through a referral from a friend or family. So if your friends and your family don't know that you're a real estate agent, you're not going to get the referrals. So please make sure that you're communicating with everyone that you know that you are in the real estate business. Even if it's just, a regular conversation, you're talking that doesn't have anything to do with real estate. But before you leave, hand them one of your business cards, make sure that you're letting everybody know that you are in the real estate business. 12% of buyers used an agent they had used in the past. So when this goes to dealing with your clients, your past client and client referral. Once you have a buyer, you get that buyer to the closing table. You're not done with your relationship with that buyer. Your relationship should continue. You should be following up with them periodically, sending them information like tips on how to prepare your home for the winter, how to save on your electricity bill, those kinds of things that you're sending to your buyers, just things coming from contribution, giving them information, valuable information that they could use. And when they're ready to buy again, they're going to remember you and they're going to come back and use you. But only 12% of buyers used an agent that they had used in the past. I don't know what the reason is per se, but my guess would be because the agent did not continue to follow up with them after the closing table, or it was a bad experience. And you don't want to fall into either one of those categories. 9% of buyers found an agent visiting an open house. 9% of buyers found an agent visiting an open house. How many of you want to get a portion of that 9%? You have to work open houses. You have to talk to the people when they come into the open houses, get their contact information, even if they're only willing to give you their name and their email address, or they give you their name and their phone number, whatever information you have. Follow up with them that same day. When you get home that evening, send them an email or a text message. Thank you for stopping by the open house. If there's anything I can do to assist you in the process, please let me know. I'll be happy to follow up with you again in a week. If they don't say no, don't call me or don't text me or don't email me in a week, then in a week you need to follow up with them again. And actually, you probably need to follow up with them again during that same week, within that same 7-day period. But and you'll learn more about that in some of your other trainings. But 9% of buyers found an agent visiting an open house. So you need to be working open houses. I still do open houses as often as I can. Doing your daily 10-4 is an excellent opportunity to find buyers and buyer referrals. Always ask. I just want to see if you have any real estate plans coming up that I can help you with. I appreciate you giving that a thought. If you do come across someone, will you promise to let me know? Okay. Lead generating it's just, even if you're holding a general conversation with family, friends, or sometimes even strangers, eventually you'll be like, what is it that you do for a living? You hold a conversation. Well, eventually they're probably 9 times out of 10 going to ask you, what is it that you do? Or people that know you're in real estate, one of the popular questions is, how is the market? If you ask me how's the market, that's an open door for conversation about real estate, you know, and then I'm going to come back to ask you, oh, what is it that you're interested in knowing more about, investing, buying, or selling? You know, and then you just have a conversation and you want to get to understand what their real estate needs are. And some of them will just say, oh, I was just asking, I'm really not interested in buying, selling, or investing right now. Okay, well, do you know anybody that is? You know, now you're asking for a referral. So there's always a way to have a conversation to let people know without you sounding like you're just pouncing on people. There's always a way. Okay, so we're talking about open houses. Holding an open house can be broken down into simple steps such as you want to prepare, you want to market, connect with the visitors and ask for their contact information, and lead cultivation and conversion follow-up. And that's what I was talking about, that following up, cultivating the relationship and following up with them is key to getting buyers from open houses. We have some people they get plenty of buyers from their open houses and some not so much, but the key is in the follow-up. And that's going to be the key in all of your lead generating, no matter what type of lead generating you're doing, the success is in the follow-up, okay? And in your Ignite toolkit, there is an open house job aid. We also have open house training in our office. So, you know, be aware of that and stay tuned for that kind of stuff. I am getting ready to show another video. If I can get to it. If anybody has any questions, you could pop them in the chat. I'm trying to keep my eye on the chat as well. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to address those questions or any ahas. That would definitely be wonderful if you would pop your ahas or unmute yourselves and share an aha moment with us. That would be awesome. We're getting ready to watch another video.
Needs analysis, the systematic process of collecting information about needs, wants, and desires that is used to establish and define goals. Step 2 of the buyer consultation is the needs analysis. Only when you understand what is ultimately important to your customers can you deliver it. Many agents ask their clients, what do you want in a house, and stop there. They don't realize the answer to that question isn't the same as what do you need or what's important to you. Determining your customer's core wants, needs, and values is a process. Draw a line down the middle of a piece of paper and write needs on the left and wants on the right, and use it to track their needs and wants as you go through this process. At this point, you will have a clear understanding of what buyers need versus what they want, but you are not done. Now, you want to drill down and uncover their values by finding out why they need and want what they do. Use this question. What about blank is important to you? Let's see how it works. Say your buyer has told you that they want or need a large yard. You say,
what's about a large yard that's important to you?
Your buyer says, I like to garden. You ask,
You like gardening. What's important about gardening?
your buyer says, I like to spend time outdoors. It helps me relax. You ask,
If you feel relaxed. Well, what's important about being relaxed?
your buyer says, when I'm relaxed, I can spend more quality time with my wife. Bullseye. A large yard equals family. At this point, you have uncovered a value. You can now look for other ways it applies to your buyer.
A large yard is important because it allows you to spend quality time with your wife, correct? So what else about your new home would be important to you in terms of spending more time with your wife?
All right, all right, all right. All right, so as you can see, you want to qualify your buyers. So we're going to get a little more into that a little later on. But what if your buyer says, what if you meet somebody and they say, well, what's available in my price point? What would be your response? You can pop it in the chat again. Or unmute yourselves. Okay. One of the responses would be when they say, what's available in my price point? Well, let's discuss your price point. Have you contacted a lender yet? Have you been pre-qualified or pre-approved yet? So that we know exactly where your price point is. I always let people know that you can go to a lender, get pre-approved, pre-qualified, but then you have to determine what's the comfortable point for you. So they may approve you for 250,000, but you may be more comfortable with 200,000 based upon what the monthly payments would be and what the interest rates are. So sending your buyers to get pre-approved and pre-qualified is going to help you to answer about what's available in my price range. Because if you don't know your price range, you have a lot of people, you'd be surprised at how many potential buyers will approach me and tell me, April, can you show me this house? I'm interested in this house. I like this house. And the house is $300,000. I said, have you been pre-approved for this price point? Oh, I haven't talked to a lender yet. Well, how do you know that you're going to be approved for that amount? You may not be approved for that amount. You may only be approved for 250,000. If the house is 300,000, then you're not approved to be able to qualify to even put in an offer on that house. So that's what my comments would be, and that's how I would address it. If someone asks me, oh, well, what's available in my price range? Well, let's discuss what your price range is, and let's make sure that we have qualified that price range through a lender before we move forward with looking at houses that they may not be able to afford. Or if they say, I can't afford to buy a house, okay, what has brought them to that determination? What would be your response to that person? I can't afford to buy a house. Okay, again, have you talked with a lender? Have you talked, can I take about 10 or 15 minutes? Do you have 10 or 15 minutes that I can share with you some information that may help you to make a better decision about whether or not now is a good time for you to buy a house? You know, ask them for 10 or 15 minutes and then stick within that 10 or 15 minutes to just give them some basic information, some knowledge, some, you know, to kind of start educating them and watering their taste buds so that now they want to know more. Now you can set an appointment for a buyer consultation. Okay, so never, never, never just walk away from not doing something. If they ask you, or if they say, I can't afford to buy a house, okay, well, what information have you used to make that determination? Well, I just know that I can't. I just know that I don't make enough money. Okay, and you may be right, but how about we just take 10 or 15 minutes to sit down and let me show you the basics of a home buying process and see if you still feel like you can't buy a house right now, and use that 10 or 15 minutes wisely. Like I said, to water their taste buds, and then that way they want more information, and now you open up the door for that appointment. If they say, I think I'll wait until 2022, I think I'm gonna wait till next year in 2022. Okay, well, what's important about waiting until 2022? Well, they may say, well, because just right now, it seems like houses are selling so fast, and I know people that are trying to buy a house and it's just hard and they're not able to get one. Okay, everybody's situation is different. So if they tell you something like that, you're like, well, and this is true. The market is kind of tight, but people are still buying houses. And I would hate for you to miss out on the opportunity of buying a house now with the interest rates as low as they are and waiting a whole year, because next year this time, unless your income changes, you may not be able to afford as much house next year as you can this year. So why don't we schedule a time where I can come by and sit down and talk to you, make sure that you're making the best informed decision for you and your family. Okay, close for the appointment. How about, can you help me find investment properties? Oh, I work with a lot of investors, and I'd be happy to work with you as well. Can we sit down? Can we set an appointment so that we can sit down and discuss your needs and exactly what it is that you're looking for, and I can tell you what it is that I can do, and we can take it from there. You know, do you have availability today at 4, or will tomorrow morning at 10 be better for you? And on that, if your lead generation time is 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock, 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock, or 10 to 1, or however you have your schedule set for lead generating time, covet your lead generating time and do not allow anything to interfere unless it's necessary. Okay, covet your lead generating time. That was a hard lesson for me to learn, but it's important that you do that. One of the things, now you may run into, I know my very first buyer I had, he worked second shift. So he worked, I think it was like, I think he worked like from, I don't remember what the hours were that he worked, but he was not available in the evenings. He worked during the evenings. So trying to have an appointment with him, I had to schedule my appointments with him late morning or early afternoon. If it cut into my lead generating time, then I would go ahead and schedule it because that's the time he was available. I'm not going to let him walk away because of lead generating time. Then I'm making up that lead generating time that I missed because of that appointment, and I'm going to tack that on to the afternoon. So whatever you do, you want at the end of the day, if you set aside 3 hours for lead generating, then 3 hours of lead generating. If you have to use some of your morning for something else, then take that time and tack it into your evening and still get your 3 hours in of lead generating, because without lead generating, you don't have a business, okay? I can afford $800 a month for living expenses. So I want to buy a house in Madison. I want a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-story, fenced in backyard, you know. That doesn't exist unless you have a large down payment. And so that's down. Now that's where you have to, again, start asking questions. You don't want to make assumptions. You want to start asking questions. Okay, well, have you talked to your lender yet? What kind of a down payment do you have? Are you prepared to make? What kind of earnest money are you prepared to put down? You know, asking those kind of questions, because you don't, I would not say you can't get no house at $800 a month in Madison and with no 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It's not going to happen. Well, if they have a large down payment that's going to bring those payments down, you know, you don't know. So don't make assumptions. Ask questions. The only way you're going to know what's going on with someone else is to ask questions. Don't make assumptions. Okay, we're going to keep moving. I'm going to take about a 5-minute break in about 2 minutes. So you want to always be the expert. Remember that you are the expert. Okay, so we're going to go over a couple of phrases that you're going to hear quite a bit. List price to sale price. List price to sale price. That is taking the sales price, dividing it by the list price, and that's the list price to sale price ratio. Okay, that's really just pretty much telling you what percentage, what the percentage point is of that sale. Okay, so if a house is listed for $100,000 and it's sold for $110,000, then it was 10% above. I think I did that. I'm doing a calculation in my head. The list price. Okay, and you'll hear that a lot. You will hear that a lot. Days on the market, DOM, days on the market. That's how many days the house was on the market, how from the day it listed until the day it went under contract. Once it goes under contract, the days on the market no longer accumulate. Okay, so days on the market. Right now, days on the market are as low as 4 or 5 days. In some areas, on average, like 21 days. So then we got another phrase is average days on the market. Average days on the market. Okay. And then you have cumulative days on the market. Cumulative days on the market means the house sometimes is listed, then for whatever reason it's taken off the market. Then when it hits the market again, it adds those days to the previous amount of days, and those are your cumulative days on the market. Your BINS, the Buyer Instant Notification System. In our MLS, you can set up your buyers on a collab. We call it the collab center. You can set your buyers up to receive automatic notifications that a new house within their criteria and their price range has hit the market. So as soon as it hits the market, it notifies your buyer. Your buyer can open it up, look at it. If it looks like something they're interested in, they can contact you and you take it from there. Okay, so those are just some of the words, some of the terminologies that you need to be familiar with. So get to know your market, the market you plan to serve, the local resources, the schools, HOAs in the area, shopping, nearby activities, nearby events. How close is it to the school? They may have a specific school they desire. If so, is this house, how far is this house? You know, how close is this house? Is it in walking distance where the child can walk to school? All these kinds of things. You want to know what is going on in the market that you're planning to serve, okay? If you're planning to serve Athens, then know about Athens. If you're planning to serve Madison, know about Madison. If you're planning to serve Huntsville, know about Huntsville, okay? Wherever area you plan to serve, you want to know. You want to know what the average days on the market are. So the average days on the market is like you're going to take the houses that are in that area, the total number of days on the market divided by the number of houses that you're using. And that's going to give you your average days on the market. You want to know about the average list price in that area. You want to know about the average sold price in that area. You want to know about the list price to sale price ratio. So those are some of the things that you want to know about the market that you're planning to work. Now, once you have the buyer, you've signed the buyer agency agreement, and now you have two goals that you want. You want to qualify them. Are they serious? Are they ready, willing, and able? And of course, then you want to get to the point. Why is it important to qualify them? Why is it important to qualify them? It's important to qualify them because, again, we talked about this earlier, you don't want to be showing them houses that they may not be able to afford, or maybe the monthly payments they can afford, but the lender is not, for whatever reason, they're not qualified for that amount of a house. Okay, so no need of me showing $300,000 houses to my buyer, and then when we find a house that they fall in love with. And this is the hardest thing, because now they've gotten emotionally attached to this house. They've fallen in love with this house. Now they want to contact the lender. And when they get to the lender says, oh, we can approve you for $200,000. And the house that they fell in love with is $300,000. Now you have a problem. You don't want that problem, because no matter what happens, 9 times out of 10, you as the real estate agent is going to be blamed, because they're going to feel like you should have educated them, you should have informed them, you should have told them ahead of time. So as much as possible, and there are people who will be like, well, I'm not contacting the lender right now, I just would rather look. You determine how you spend your time, but spending your time driving around, looking at houses and showing people houses that they have not yet been qualified for through a lender is really not the best use of your time. That's the way I'll put that. It's not the best use of your time. But so you want to definitely get them qualified. Some people say get the buyer agency agreement signed and then send them, the same day, contact the lender and have them get qualified that same day. Some people say have them get qualified and then reach back out to them and get the buyer agency, whatever works for you. If you're in a coaching program, you and your coach discuss what they feel is best. I'm not going to recommend one way or the other. I will tell you what I do is I get the buyer agency agreement signed, and then I try to have them to contact the lender the same day. If I can call the lender while we're together right now, because there's so much virtual stuff going on, I give them the names and numbers of some of my preferred lenders. If they don't have a lender of their choice, then I give them preferred lenders, and I follow up with them the next day to see had they made contact with the lender. And I also, once I give them the names of lenders, I contact those lenders to let them know to expect this buyer. I give the lender the name of the buyer and the buyer's contact information as well. Okay. So right now we're going to take a 5-minute break. I'm going to take a break to get some water and to replenish my dry mouth, and you all can take a break. I'm going to keep the screen open. And I will continue the recording. I'll pause the recording. Yes. All right, we're back. Everybody had their little break and we are back getting started. We're gonna go into session 8, lesson number 8 in your books. Let me go ahead. I guess I could have pulled that up before I did this, but let's go into lesson number 8. Move things around here, I'm sorry. Lesson 8. Here we go. All right. So now we're going to talk about finding and showing homes. We're in lesson number 8 in your Ignite book. We'll skip all the beginning pages. Again, this is just reminding you, again, please remember that activities are what is going to grow your business. The information is good, but if you're not doing the activities, then you're not growing your business. If you're not growing your business, eventually a business that doesn't grow eventually is going to die. So we want your business to grow. In this lesson, we're going to learn techniques for qualifying homes that you find online, develop your showing skills, and practice powerful scripts that will help your buyers in the decision-making process. You do have to walk them through a process. It's a very emotional process for some people more than others, but you want to, so you want to know, you want to be able to know how to walk them through the process and help them get past their emotions to make a rational decision. Okay, it's a process. So we're not going to, again, please remember that you are every day. You want to spend time calling, so you want to do your 10-4 daily. You are contacting 10 people in your database. You're making 10 new connections, and you want to add them to your database. You're writing 10 notes to 10 different people, and you want to preview 10 homes every week. Those are your 4 activities that you should be doing on a regular basis. Those are the activities that are going to grow your business. Okay, so scripts for calling personal and professional service industries. Okay, right now we're going to talk about how you want to grow your business with referral partnerships and business owners. Okay, hi Tina. I'm April with Keller Williams Realty, and I'm in the process of creating a list of preferred business and service providers to give to my clients. Since I frequently have clients ask me for a good hairdresser, I only wanted to refer them to trusted companies. Since I have had excellent service from you, would you and your business be interested in being included? And 9 times out of 10, they're going to be like, yes. As a matter of fact, I've not had anybody say no. Great. I like to establish these professional referral partnerships to help grow each other's businesses as well. So if I were to refer clients to you, would you be willing to refer your clients that are looking to buy or sell a home to me with the assurance that I will provide them with the high level of customer service that you expect? And if they say yes, then excellent. How about we confirm each other's contact information so that we can get started? Okay, that's just one of the many scripts that you can use to talk to your referrals. So you want a dentist, you want to do your dentist, hairdresser, your barber. If you go get your shoes shine, the shoe shine person. If you're still getting newspaper delivered, the newspaper delivery person, your mail carrier. Any service that you use, your pediatrician, definitely a pediatrician, because as new families are moving into town, they don't know who to use. It is good to have a pediatrician. You say, well, I know several of my contacts use such and such as their pediatrician. Here's their contact information if you want to call them and see if they'd be a good fit for you and your family. So you want to, connect with your preferred vendors and create a list of all of these people that you're contacting, these business owners. You want to create a list of them and have that in your files to give to your buyers, to your new buyers, especially those who are new coming into the area. Okay, so the journey from buyer consultation to offer is the most exciting and rewarding part of working with buyers. We're on page 11. Finding the right home as quickly as possible is a win for the buyer and a win for you because you can work with as many buyers as possible. The quicker you get one under contract, the more time you have to get to add to your pipeline. Okay, so the NAR stats say that the typical home buyer searched for 10 weeks and viewed 10 homes before finding the right home. 92% of buyers use the internet in their home search process. 50% of buyers use a mobile website or a mobile app in their home search. You have both. You have access to a website, you have access to an app that you can share. 98% of buyers who used an agent viewed real estate agents as a useful information source. You want to be that resourceful agent for your buyers. Anybody that you know that is thinking about buying a home, you want to be that resourceful person. Now, I am going to say this. There will be times when you will have friends and family that use somebody outside of you. Don't get offended. I hear agents that say, oh, I cut them off. How dare they? Don't get offended by that. Don't get offended. If you talk to them and you know that they know that you were in the business and they still work with someone else, they may have their own reasons. They may be uncomfortable dealing with somebody that they know so closely. One lady told me, she said, April, I don't want to use you. She said, because I know me. She said, I'm going to be that buyer that will make you regret having your license. She said, I don't want that to come between our friendship. And I told her, what? I said, well, then would you mind me referring you to an agent that I think would be great for you? Then at least you get the referral fee. But if they use somebody and they don't use you, do not get offended. Don't act ugly. Don't say nasty things on Facebook. It's all a part of the process. Everybody knows more than one real estate agent. Somebody's going to get the business and the rest of them are not. Sometimes you're going to be that one that does not. And it's okay. It's okay. There's plenty more business out there. So I just wanted to throw that out there. More than 50% of buyers reported finding the right home was the most difficult step in the home buying process. Finding the right home has been reported as one of the most difficult steps in the home buying process. So getting approved for the loan, for the mortgage, signing all the documents at the closing table, all of those other things, but finding the right home, the process of looking and finding the right home, they said was the most difficult step. 24% of recent home buyers reported the primary reason for the recent home purchase was a desire to own a home. That statement to me says first-time home buyers. 24% of recent home buyers were first-time home buyers, and they wanted to finally step into the home ownership realm. So, that's a niche in and of itself. First-time home buyers, that's a niche in and of itself, because these are people who have never experienced, so you can't talk to them coming from experience. You have to walk them through every step and explain every step, and don't get frustrated because you will have to explain more than one time sometimes. And you'll have to remind them the conversation that we had at the consultation. Remember when I told you that this is what you could expect, that is what you could expect. And so that's why that consultation is very, very crucial. And you need to have a checklist to make sure that you're going over everything that's important. Earnest money at your consultation, and I know I'm backtracking now, but at your buyer consultation, you want to make sure that you go over earnest money, what to expect at the home inspection. That's an upfront cost. That's not something they can wrap into their loan or anything. That's an upfront cost. Do they have that? Do they have the cash on hand for the earnest money? Talk to them about the appraisal, about the house has to appraise, because some people, they want to underbid or overbid, but the house has to appraise, and if the house appraises for 500,000, but you only want to offer 400,000 and they got it listed for 495, if you want a strong offer, you have to talk to them about the importance of a strong offer and what it takes to have a strong offer. So those are things you want to keep in mind. 9% purchased a new home due to a job-related relocation or move. 8% bought for the desire to be in a better area or a change in family situation. Whether they got married, had a baby, the family is growing, a divorce, a change in maybe they, elderly parents or grandparents moved in, or whatever the change in the family situation may be. Make it happen, working with buyers. In order to have a successful home search process, focus on these 3 steps. Find the right home, show qualified homes, bring your buyers to a decision. So I have a current buyer that I'm working with. She's in a price point of a little over $100,000 is our price point. So, and that's not impossible to find homes. A little over a year ago, those houses, move-in ready homes at $89,000 were out there. They're a little harder to find, but they're not impossible to find. So I never discourage my buyers because of their price point. I educate them and I coach them, but I do not discourage them. So finding the right homes and then show qualified homes. So this buyer started sending me homes in Anniston, Alabama, in Jackson, Alabama. So I had to call her and have a conversation. I said, okay. I said, you're sending me homes in Anniston. I said, your family is here. And I know you're closely connected to your family here in Huntsville, Madison areas. I said, you know that's about 2 hours away, right? She said, yeah, I know. She said, but somebody told me I could probably get more house for my money there. I said, you possibly could. I said, but I don't want to take you out to Anniston and show you a house. And then when you get out there, you tell me, oh, no, I didn't realize how far this is. This is too far out. I'm not interested. I said, because then that's 4 hours that we spent looking at for one house. You know how many houses we can look at in 4 hours if we stay local. So I don't mind doing it, but make sure that that's something that you really want to do. So needless to say, she still sends me houses in Anniston. And every time she does, I tell her, okay, I'm scheduling for us to go and see it. But usually the day before we have to go see it, she has called me with the reason that she doesn't want to go see it. I know that's not where her heart is. So you have to show qualified homes. You have to qualify the homes, but then you have to coach them. I try not to tell them no. I just try to coach them through the process, okay? And then you want to bring your buyers to a decision, okay? Once I've shown you a home, is this the right home for you? Are you ready to put in an offer, okay? 92% of buyers use the internet in their home search process. That's a fact. There is no doubt your buyers will be searching on the internet, Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia. There's various search engines out there that they will be using to search for their home. So it's your job to help them identify which homes are actually worth the time to see. It's your job to help them identify which homes are actually worth the time to see. If you have time to go and preview the home before you schedule an appointment for them to see the home, and that way you know whether it's in the condition that they're looking for, in the location they're looking for, whatever it may be. For your thorough buyer consultation helps establish exactly what the buyers are looking for in their dream home. Leveraging that criteria using online property search sites to find several homes for your buyers to view. So again, we have what we call the Collab Center in our MLS. You can set them up on an automatic campaign where every time a home that falls into that criteria that they shared with you at the buyer consultation, you enter that into the MLS and you save that search under their name. It's going to automatically send them houses that meet their criteria. Once they open up that link and they look at those houses, they will notify you of which houses. And I encourage them to go and drive by and see if it's, just from the outside, how they feel about the house. Is there some type of a connection as they're driving by that makes them want to go inside? Or is it one of those like, oh, no, I'm not interested in that one, okay? But you can set them up on instant notification, or some people call it BIN, we call it a collab center, automatic drip campaign that will send them these homes. Monitor what your buyers receive from your KW website and your app through your back office tools. So you can do that. You can monitor what they see through your website and your app, and then contact them when you find a property that they should see. Likewise, ask them to contact you immediately when they find something they would like to see, not just through the internet. Some of them are going to see a house as they're driving around on a Sunday or a Saturday, and they see an open house and they want to go inside and check it out. They don't know the price of the house immediately. They're going to go inside and look around, and they're going to tell you, I think we found the dream home. It may not be in their price point, but you need to, again, keep them on track, keep them focused, and know that they may find it for sale by owner as well. And you need to know how to handle that. But let them know that whatever it is that they find outside of you, that they need to refer back to you for you to do the research and get the appointment scheduled for them to see the house if it's going to be a good fit. Continue to check in periodically to see what your buyers think of the homes in their search. If no homes meet their criteria, you may have to meet with them again to realign their expectations, okay? So there are going to be times, I have another buyer that I'm working with, and they're not getting any email notifications because nothing is out there that meets their criteria. So we are getting ready to have a conversation again to find out, do they still just want to wait to see if something comes out, or do we need to revisit their criteria? Do we need to revisit the price point? Do we need to revisit some of their must-haves? Okay. But keep your buyers focused on the top 5 to 7 homes that you've selected for them to view, and based on their needs by using this script. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, when we do find the right home, we'll need to act quickly. And I know you're going to have that feeling of, well, is there something better out there? But I have to tell you, the best homes sell right away because they are the best homes. Do you want to see all the homes, or do you want to find the right one right now quickly? Okay, that's an awesome script because people do say, oh, I think I want to wait. Well, especially in this market we're in right now, waiting is not recommended. If it's a house that you walk in and you feel like this is it, then you need to tell your buyers, okay, let's write up the offer. No, don't tell them, I'm sorry. You want to ask them, okay, so are you ready to write up an offer? Is this the one that you want to put in an offer on? Is this the one that you can see yourself and your family in? Okay, how do you qualify homes that are found online? You know your buyers will be searching online, so when they call you and are excited because they found the one, remind them that you still need to qualify the home before you jump in the car to show it, okay? We found it. Oh, Ava, I know this is going to be the perfect home. I've had that happen. And then when I get them there, they're like, oh, these rooms are smaller than we thought. Oh, this house is not in the condition that we thought. Yeah, so you, if at all possible, if they send you something, they're excited about it, don't dampen their excitement. But you go and you preview the home, let them know, okay, I'm gonna go by, I'm not far from it or whatever. I'm gonna go and check this house out to make sure that it's gonna meet your needs, okay? Then you give them a call and you say, okay, I went and I saw the house and it has this that I know you like, but it also had this, and this that you told me you don't want to deal with. So now is this still a home that you want to go see? Okay, check the MLS to make sure the home is still available. I always call the agent and ask them, is the home still available, or do they have any offers on it, and that kind of stuff. Do I have time to go and show it? My buyers are not available to go see it until tomorrow morning. Do I still have time to go and show the home, or are you under contract? Always communicate with the listing agent. Compare the features of the home with your buyer's wish list and their 5 must-haves, which I just mentioned. Is it really a good fit, or are the buyers letting an emotional factor cloud their better judgment? Some people get tired, it's like, I'm tired of looking, I'm just ready to put in an offer, I'm tired of looking. That's not gonna be the house that they're gonna be excited to go home to every day. Okay, and so you need to remind them that this is a major decision that they're making for their families, and they have to be 100% convinced that this is the perfect home for them and their family. It's not a, oh, we changed our mind kind of thing, because once that offer is accepted, they're under contract. That's a legal and binding contract. It's not easy to get out of, okay? So they need to know for sure that they are sure that that's the house for them. Make a showing appointment, leverage the trip by checking to see if there are other comparable homes that you can show them as well. There might be some other homes in the area that are comparable to it, maybe a different price point, not out of their price range, but you know, there might be some other areas, homes in the area. So you can try to, if I'm going to show one home, then I'm going to do my best to have at least 2 other homes to show, that we're not wasting our time just looking at one house every day. Okay, so at this time, we would actually do an activity, and I think, I don't know if you all have access to the MLS, but I want you to get comfortable with utilizing the MLS. So if we're going to create a scenario, I would say create a scenario of a buyer. Let's say the buyer is looking for a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home. They want a ranch style home with an isolated master suite. They want an open concept. And so that's the scenario that I want you all to use to go into the MLS and see how many homes. And the price point, our price point is $325,000. So that's the price, that's how much we're looking. So I want you to all to play around in your MLS with that information and see what you come up with. And, you know, that's just a form of practicing how to use the MLS. So we're not going to stop and do that now, but I do want you to take some time to do that as one of your assignments before your next class. Okay. And determine what are the must-haves. So yeah, play around with that idea. You can make your own, create your own scenario, but I want you to take some time to really play around in the MLS and get yourselves comfortable with it, because that is like your lifeline. That is your lifeline. Okay, then next you're going to show homes, okay? So organization and the ability to guide your buyers toward a decision will make your home showing successful. Prepare to show your homes. Look at the showing instructions on the MLS to schedule the show times, okay? Okay, so now that you're comfortable using the MLS, what you will see is when you click on, when you open up one of the listings, there's going to be remarks. Then if you look down further, you will see that there are agent remarks. Those remarks are only visible to you, the agent. In there's usually any remarks that are specific to how to show the home, when to show the home. Sometimes it'll say, please give at least 24-hour notice. Sometimes it'll say, call the listing agent, text the listing agent, call the seller, or sometimes it's just using showing time. Showing time is an automated system that you can use to schedule your showings. Always call the listing agent to see if the home is still available and if there have been any offers. Set the home tour date with your buyers with a specific start and end time. In other words, we're going to go and see this home. If it's just the one particular home, we're scheduled to go and see this home from 4 to 4:30. That's our start time, that's our end time. If we have 3 homes we're going to go see, then let's say we're going to start our home tour at 4 and 5:30, you know, set aside at least an hour and a half for us to go and see these 3 homes. So from 4 to 5:30, we're going to spend looking at homes, okay? Looking at specific homes, not just randomly driving around, but looking at these 3 specific homes. Try to give a 24-hour notice if possible to prepare to show the home. Check with your buyer to make sure they have earnest money ready if necessary. If we see a home that you like today and you're ready to put in an offer, I already have your pre-approved letter because I'm going to get that at the buyer consultation, at the signing of the agreement. I'm sorry. But are you ready with the earnest money? Do you have the funds to, because If your offer is accepted, that check that you write will be deposited. So are you ready now to make that offer? Preview the home and eliminate any that do not meet their criteria. Prepare and educate yourself about the home and demographics. Be the source of information. Be the source of information. You can call when you call the listing agent to see if the house is still available, ask the listing agent, is there anything else about this house I need to know? The age of the HVAC, the age of the roof, any remodeling or repairs that have recently been done. The utilities, what's the average utilities on this house? You know, those are things that people ask quite often, especially the HVAC and the roof. People want to know that. So if you can get that information from the listing agent ahead of time, that is awesome. Determine which route to take, always showing the best home first. So the house that you think is going to be the ideal home for them, that's the one you want to show them first. Then you can, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I'm recording this. Then you can show the other houses. And so now you want to set it up so that you're making a reasonable route. You don't want to just be all over the place, over here, back over here, back over there. So take them to the house that you think is going to be the ideal house for them first, and then route the rest of the houses in a sensible order. Okay. Arrange to meet with your buyer at your office or in front of the first home that you will be touring. Okay, so arrange to meet them at the office or in front of the first home that you will be touring. If we're not riding together and we've already done all paperwork and everything, then I usually have them just meet me in front of the house. You want to print out 2 detailed MLS information sheets for each property that you plan to tour with your buyer. One is going to be for you, one set is for you, one set is for your buyers. Your set should be the agent's MLS information sheet. There should be the customer information sheet. Okay. The agent's information sheet has confidential information that is not shared to the public. So you want to make sure that you give them the customer copy, you keep the agent copy. Place the MLS information sheets in the order that you will be touring the properties. We have binders. If you don't have folders, we have folders here in the office that you can purchase and put them in the order. And I always number them 1, 2, 3 in case they drop it or something. They still have 1, 2, 3. And I put it in a binder or put it in a little folder for them. And I also sometimes I have a checklist. I don't always use a checklist, but you can use a checklist or you cannot use the checklist. If you don't have a checklist, then tell them on the back of each MLS report that they should take notes and try to find a way to identify each house. Like, so once you're talking on the phone later on and you're asking them, well, what about the greenhouse? Because maybe the house was painted green that kind of stood out. So you call it the greenhouse. Or you may, the next house may be the popsicle house because the color of the house reminds you of popsicle. Find some way to identify the house so that once you're back talking to them later on in the evening or the next day, that you have a way to identify which house is which, but have them make notes. And you need to be taking notes as well on the back of your MLS sheets of things, because remember, when you're showing a house, you're not just showing it to that buyer, but you're also previewing it for other buyers. So you need to be taking notes. And make a copy of the 5 must-have sheets that was filled out during your buyer consultation. Include that with the MLS and the home tour checklist. So you want to have your MLS sheets in the order that you're going to see the homes. You want to have the checklist, and I say have a check. You want to have a checklist. I attach it to each MLS sheet, and then you want to have their 5 must-haves written out and in the folder as well to remind them of the things that they said that were important to them. Okay, now you want to help the buyers to view the homes. One of the most important parts of preparing your buyers to evaluate the home is to help them understand the things they should look past. As you ask buyers for their comments on the homes, help them to distinguish between the things they liked and the things they did not like. Okay, so one of the most important parts of preparing your buyer to evaluate the home is to help them understand the things that they should look past. There are certain things, cosmetic things. Well, I don't like the color of the wall. Well, you can paint the wall. So that's something you look past because you can paint that wall whatever color you want to paint it. That's not an expensive fix. Okay. If the dislikes are things like the yard size or the structure of the home, things that cannot be easily changed, ask them if that is a deal breaker. When it comes to things like wall color or lack of landscaping, discuss easy, low-cost solutions and help them see past those issues. Easy, low-cost solutions to paint is painting. We can paint. I'll get a team of people to help you get those walls painted if that's need be. I just had buyers that just closed on their home about 2 weeks ago. They loved everything about the house except for in the kitchen, just the bottom portion of the wall, just one little section of the wall was blue that the wife did not like. She did not like that blue. And the husband said, I'll paint that. He said, I can change that. That's not a problem. And the back patio was not enclosed. They wanted an enclosed, a screened in back patio. He told her he can fix that. So they bought the house. Some things are easier fixed than others. Some things are more expensive to fix than others. But, you know, if there are things that can be fixed and can be changed, then discuss easy, low-cost solutions and help them see past those issues. Have your buyers use the home tour checklist to guide them as to what to look at in the home and to make comments, okay? You should use the home tour checklist, and then there's a copy of it in your Ignite toolkit. Remember, every time you take buyers out to look at a home, you are also previewing the home for other potential buyers. As a real estate expert, you need to be aware of what is in the market. Okay. So here's your home tour checklist that you can use. You can create your own. If this one doesn't look usable to you, you can create your own, but you do want to have some type of a checklist or some way for them to keep track of each home and what they liked and didn't like about each home. Because after seeing 3 or 4 homes, when they get home, they're going to be like, was that the house with the garden that I didn't like, or was that the house that needed landscape work? You know, so have a checklist. Okay, now you're at the house. We're at the house and we're getting ready to tour the house. The house you set the appointment through showing time, you got your confirmation, and just because you set an appointment and showing time, please wait for your confirmation before you go and show the house. Okay, if you don't get a confirmation in a timely manner, contact the listing agent to let them know, hey, I made a request to show the property at 123 East Main Street. I haven't gotten a confirmation. Is it going to be okay for me to show it tomorrow at 4, whatever the case may be? Okay. So you want to ring the doorbell when you get there, even if the home has a lockbox, even if you've gotten confirmation to show the house. When you arrive, ring the doorbell. If the property is occupied, ring the doorbell at least 2 times before you enter. Before going beyond the entry, you want to say, hello, real estate agent here, a few times to make sure no one is at home. You don't want to startle anybody who may be at home, who may have fallen asleep. They may have forgotten that you were supposed to be coming. You don't know what the situation is. They may have gotten sick and couldn't get out of bed and forgot to call to cancel the appointment. So please make sure that you ring the doorbell, announce yourself when you do come in before you step beyond that doorway. Record your own comments on your copy of the MLS sheet for each property as you show it. Have your buyers give descriptive names to help them visualize the homes individually, such as the Great View House, the house with the creek, the fountain house, the smelly cat house, or whatever, you know, they can do to help them remember which house is which. While touring properties, avoid making comments. While touring properties, you should avoid making comments. Let your buyers come to their own conclusions. You should say, oh, that paint is an ugly color, or, oh, that's an awkward place for the bathroom to be. Let your buyers come to their own conclusions. But now you can ask questions. You want to get inside their heads to determine if the home is really a match for what they want. Try asking, what would you change about this house? This can give you the knowledge you need to get them to the proper home. Okay, what is it that you would change about this house? What is it that you liked about this house? I took I took someone to see a house the other day, and they told me certain locations they wanted to be in. This house was not in the locations that they wanted to be in. It was just outside of one of the locations they wanted to be in. And so I told them, I said, this may not be the best ideal location for you. I said, but the house is really nice and it has everything that you want except for location. So I wanted you to go and see it. We get to the house and he's like, you know what? This location is not bad. He was okay with the location and he liked the house. You know, so you never know. You want to ask questions. What would you change about this house? I asked him, oh, other than the location, what about this house do you not like? And he said there was nothing else that he didn't like. And the location wasn't bad enough for him to not want to put in an offer. Help the buyers rank the houses that you have shown them in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. If you are working with a couple, have them do this at the same time to see if they are on the same page. So have them do it at the same time, but separately to see if they're on the same page. This exercise will help the buyers self-discover as to what is really important to them in their new home. And finally, ask the buyers, do you see yourself living here? Follow up with why or why not. If they respond affirmatively, then your next question should be what? Are you ready to make an offer? Exactly. Now there's some etiquettes to touring a home. There are some etiquettes to touring a home. Trying to keep track of the time. As a professional agent, it's important that you observe basic etiquette when showing homes to your buyers. First and foremost, leave the home as you found it, including the lights and the AC heat. So I usually try not to adjust the temperature, the thermostat at all. But if it's like freezing cold in there and I get there a little early, then I may turn on the heat to try to warm it up just a little bit before the buyers get there. But then if you do that, you have to remember to turn it back down. But I don't like doing it because that's affecting their utility bill, you know, so I try not to do that. But leave the home as you found it. So if the lights were on when you arrived, then leave the lights on when you leave. If the lights were off when you arrived, then leave the lights, turn the lights off when you leave. If the garage door was locked when you got there, lock the garage door when you leave. If the garage door was unlocked, and this is so important, if the garage door was unlocked when you arrived, leave the garage door unlocked. So you have to make mental note or written down note of all of these things, because sometimes the seller may no longer have keys to the front and back door, and their access to the house is by opening up the garage with the remote control opener and walking in through the garage door and through the kitchen or wherever the garage door leads to. If you lock that door, they may not have access to their home. So please, 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 if the garage door is unlocked, leave it unlocked. Now, if it's the back door or the front door that you find unlocked, I never leave until I call the listing agent to make sure that they're aware, hey, when I got here, the back door was unlocked. Am I supposed to leave that unlocked, or should I go ahead and lock it? Because you want to leave that house as secure as the seller expects it to be, okay? Be sure to look for and observe all touring notes in the MLS or given by the listing agent. Again, that's going to be in those agent remarks in the MLS. You want to make sure that you're adhering to all touring notes. Sometimes there may be a code to access the house and it's not a lockbox. If you haven't read those notes, now you're standing at the house looking for a lockbox. That has happened to me. It has happened to me. I'm telling you, I'm not telling you anything I don't know. I haven't experienced. So please make sure that you read those agent remarks, because there may be an alarm on the house. And now I had a listing that I had put in the notes and I put in showing time. So when they requested to tour the house in showing time and I confirmed it, showing time sent them the alarm code. I put in the MLS that there was an alarm on the house and that the code had to be set. Someone went to show the house to their buyer, did not read the information about the alarm, and I had a piece of paper in the lockbox with the key, with the alarm, the instructions for the alarm. Somehow this agent overlooked everything, every warning sign. They opened up the house, the alarm went off, the sellers were frantic because they had gone to dinner while the house was being shown. The police arrived, I went out, it was, yeah. So please make sure that you're reading all the agent remarks, and even though we're not talking about sellers, but if you get listings, please make sure that you put in the remarks any pertinent information that another agent would need to know. Okay, be mindful of pets when opening exterior doors or going into the backyard. Seller may not realize how dangerous their pets can be to strangers, and you don't want to chase an animal throughout the neighborhood while your buyers are waiting on you. So be mindful of pets when you're opening exterior doors. Best practices as a seller, that the information is there, that there's a cat locked up in the bathroom, hallway bathroom, so please don't open the door, or there's a cat in the garage, so please don't go out in the garage, or something to that effect. Usually there are notes or there's information to let you know that there is a pet in the house, but just be mindful that if there is a pet in the house, you want to make sure that you are not the one to let that pet out of the house. Leave a card on the counter to let the seller know that you were there. If the home listing should expire, it may be good that the seller knows you actually brought buyers in. So leave a card on the counter. It's for the listing agent to know who was in and out, even though you're using showing time, but still leave a card to let them know that yes, you were there, you did show up, and you did show the house. But again, it also benefits because if the listing is withdrawn or expires for any reason, when that seller gets ready to list the house again, they have these cards. Now they have other agents they can interview if they are choosing not to use the previous agent that they used. So make sure to secure and lock the house when you leave, and notify the listing agent if you notice anything is wrong. Again, if a door is unlocked or window is open or something to that effect. I've gone into listings to show to my buyers, and when we got there, there were guns laid out on the table in one of the rooms. They were just guns laid out. We didn't even look at the house. I told my buyers, no, we're just gonna leave because we didn't want anything to come up missing and we be accused, or that just was a sticky situation. So yeah, but you want to leave the house the way you found it. So okay, so working with a partner, this is another activity that we would be doing. Working with a partner, you would use the chart below to list 3 common home features that you might want a buyer to notice, okay? List the benefits of that feature. So if you all, I don't know if you all have paired up in partners or not for this Ignite program, but if you have, then maybe get with your partner and you all go ahead and do this activity together. I strongly, again, encourage you all to do the activities that are in the booklet, because the activities is what's going to get you the practice that you're needing to get out there and grow your business. Okay, so you're gonna use the chart below to list 3 common home features. You're gonna list the features 1, 2, 3, and then you're gonna list the benefits of that feature. So let's say if it's a backyard, what's the benefits of a backyard? You can have barbecues, you can entertain, the dog can run around, the kids can run around, the grandchildren can run around, whatever the benefit may be. So list the feature and the benefit. Then the activity would have been that we would read off the benefits of the feature you listed, and the class would have to guess what the feature is. So do that with a partner. If you have partners, if you all have script and role play partners, then I'd advise you to do this activity with one another. So separately, write out your features and your benefits, and then take turns reading your benefits, and the other person, your partner, has to determine what feature it is that you were describing, okay? Recognizing buying signals as you tour the home. You want to pay attention You want to pay attention to what your clients are saying. Give them space though, please. Make sure that when you're touring a home, that you're giving your buyers the space that they need, the privacy that they need to have conversations among themselves. If it's a couple, or if it's a mother, a parent and a child, or whatever the case may be, but give them time to be able to walk through the house. I don't walk through and show them, this is the bedroom and this is the bathroom. They know that, they can see that. I give them their space to walk through, and I tell them, let me know if they have any questions as they go. But then I'm also, every once in a while, especially if it's a larger home, if they go upstairs, then I'm gonna go upstairs too, because I want to hear what they're saying to me. So I don't want to eavesdrop on their personal conversation. But whenever they're making a comment, like they walk up the steps and they say, oh, I didn't realize those steps were so steep. Well, if I'm in another room, I didn't hear it. So I want to know that they feel that those steps are a little too steep for them, because that's information I need to know when I'm looking for houses for them. So you want to kind of keep your ears open, but at the same time, you want to give them their privacy. Anyway, so this will give you the leverage that you need to help the buyer make a decision. Once you know who the decision maker in the family is, keep your focus on that person, if at all possible. Again, the couple that we just closed 2 weeks ago was an elderly couple, a husband and a wife. And a lot of times the woman has a lot of input in this home search process. But in this instance, she was hands off. Now, once he did all the talking, he did all the interaction with me and everything. And, you know, she and I had no problems, but that's just the way their relationship works, is he does all the talking, he did all of that. But then when it came down to, okay, so are you all gonna put in an offer? Then he would look at her, he said, baby, what do you think? You know, so she had a final say, but he was the decision maker. He was the driving force behind the decisions. So some of the most common buying signals are listed below. Body language and facial expressions. Are they smiling? Are they like looking around? Are they saying, oh, we will be able to put the sofa there. Oh, and that would be a great area for the grandkids to play in. Are they envisioning themselves living there? Asking about a seller's motivation. So if they're asking you, is the seller having to move? Is the seller, you know, why is the seller moving? Why is the seller selling, or whatever the question may be? So if they ask questions about the seller's motivation, if they ask detailed questions, such as about the seller's disclosure or taxes, utility bill, those are questions that let you know, okay, this might be a house they're really interested in. Again, are they visualizing furniture placement? Are they comparing other houses to it? Well, I like this one because this one, this, and that other one didn't have this. Are they discussing new paint or carpet? And going back to the comparing other houses, or they may be standing in this house and saying, you know what, I think I like that other house better. You know, that's another signal. Sitting down in the house, are they sitting down, like making themselves at home? Are they becoming protective, not wanting other buyers to see the property? Oh, is that somebody get ready to show the house? I see somebody sitting outside. Are they trying to show the house too? Asking for a second showing or raising objections. You may be surprised by number 10. It's a common misconception that objections such as, oh, I don't like the color of that carpet, means that a buyer is not interested in a property. Objections can actually be strong buying signals. When buyers raise an objection to some feature of the home, it may mean that they are imagining themselves in that home and they want to, you know, they're trying to think of how they can overcome whatever that objection is. So you as a real estate agent need to ask questions. Ask questions. Why is it that the color of the carpet is a bother to you? What is that the only thing in this house that you would want to change, is the color of the carpet? You know, ask questions. Don't take it as, oh, they didn't like the house. You never know unless you ask. Okay, so we're going to go just through one of these scripts. One of the objections could be, we really want a formal dining room. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, remember at our first meeting when we talked about what we talked about there being I'm sorry. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, remember at our first meeting when we talked about there being no such thing as a 100% house? Refer them back to the 5 must-haves. we identified blank as being the 5 must-haves in your new home. Has a formal dining room taken precedence over any of those items on the must-have list? If so, which one? If yes, you will need to begin a new search. Okay, so if they say, yeah, we're thinking that a formal dining room is going to be more important to us than a 4th bedroom. Okay, well then let's renegotiate. Let's go back and redo this search because I've not looked for anything with a formal dining room. So now that we're revamping, let's go back and redo this. And it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal, but it can be done. Okay, then bring your buyers to a decision. Remember, you are not a tour guide with a lockbox key. You are not a tour guide with a lockbox key, which is a misconception about real estate agents. Your job, once you have helped them find the right home, is to facilitate the decision-making process for your buyers so that they can make an offer and get the home they want before someone else does. This is an important milestone in the home buying process. So once they found the house, now it's up to you to help facilitate, and then it's going to get to the negotiations and get to the closing table. So that's what your job is. Okay, so now we're here at the contracts. Okay, we're putting in an offer. Once that offer is accepted, your buyer is under contract. Okay, we're one step closer to closing. Okay, and Mo Anderson says, where there is no passion, there is no vision. Where there is no passion, there is no vision. Mo Anderson, the Vice President of the board, Keller Williams. So each time you show a new property, ask your buyer to rank that property on a scale of 1 to 10. This is how you're going to help them through the decision-making process. You're going to ask them to rank, each time you show a new property, ask them to rank that property on a scale of 1 to 10. You should each record that number on your home tour checklist. So as you're going through, you got the MLS sheets, you got the home tour checklist. If you don't have a home tour checklist, then use the MLS sheet to rank the home numbers 1 through 10. The purpose is to continuously decide which property is ranked at the top for a possible offer. Ask them why they rank the home lower or higher. After each showing, ask if they want to purchase that home. After each showing, so don't wait till you show all 4 and then say, okay, now which one of these do you like? Do you want to put in an offer on one? No. After each showing, ask them, are you ready to purchase this home? Are you ready to put in an offer on this? If not, find out why not. This is your opportunity to further understand or to reassess the buyer's needs, their wants, and their values. Okay, so you want to ask after each showing. When you have finished touring homes, put all the MLS sheets together in their order of ranking. Eliminate all but the top 2 ranking homes. So again, as you're asking them to rank the homes, when they rank the home, you're writing it on your MLS sheet too. Once you have ranked the homes, then you want to eliminate everything but the top 2 ranking homes. Take the highest scoring home and ask, so is this one your favorite? Is it going to be your new home? It does meet everything on your checklist, doesn't it? You can validate their choice by adding, I can see why you're so excited about this home, okay? But you want to make sure that you're helping them to prioritize and really get to the decision-making process. Then you're going to take the MLS sheet of the top ranking home, flip it over, and draw a line from the top to the bottom. On the left side, as you see here, you're going to write, on the left side of the line, you're going to write the pros, and on the other side, you're going to write the cons. Dig deep with your questions to truly pull out what they like and don't like about the home. This way, your buyers don't feel like you are pushing the home sale on them, and it helps you isolate objections. So you want to dig deep, asking questions and letting them determine what are their pros, what are their cons, okay? And this is what you're doing with the highest scoring home. Now, after all of this, they may be like, no, maybe we did like home number 2 better. You don't, but you're getting them through a process of making decisions. Ask them to make an offer. Once they have clearly narrowed in on the highest ranking house, help them focus on the next step, which is making an offer. by asking, so would it make sense for us to go back to my office to do some research on house prices in the neighborhood to see what would be a really good offer for this home? Okay, so right now we're going to go to another video. We're going to watch Create Urgency. Create Buyer Urgency.
Hi, my name is Sean Healy, and today I'm going to teach you how to create buyer urgency through the showing process. And the first step is setting expectations. We tell buyers that it is a seller's market, and what that means is the best homes go fast. The next area that we set expectations in is multiple offers. We tell our buyers there's going to be a lot of other buyers out there, and you may find yourself in a competitive situation. The third area that we set expectations on is condition. Many of the homes that they're going into are going to be move-in ready, but they need a little bit of work. The next step in the process we call the funnel. And essentially, we're trying to take the entire MLS and funnel it down so that at the end of the day, there can be only one house that kicks out the bottom. What I'd like you to do tonight, pick out the best 10 or 15 homes, and then tomorrow drive by those homes and check them out. I want you to pick out the best 3 or 4, and we'll go out and take a look at those homes. Next part is the actual showing process. We show the first house. You'll ask the buyer on a scale of 1 to 7, leaving out the 4, 7 being perfect, and there is no perfect home, and 1 being unlivable, where would you rate this home? Inevitably, the buyer will answer it's a 5. And the reason they give you a 5 is because they don't have anything else to compare it to on the very first home that they've gone to see. Then what you want to do is try and reinforce what's making it a 5 for you. Then the next question you asked said, what are some of the things that you would do to move it more towards a 7 if you were to purchase it? You go on to the next house. Now you ask an alternative of choice question. Pretend you had to buy one of these 2 houses today. Which one would it be? The last one we saw or this one? They liked the first one better. Perfect. Go to the third house. The third house, you do the same thing. You say, all right, Gary, pretend there's only 2 homes on the market and you have to buy one today. Which one is it? The first one we saw or this one? And they say, this one. And you repeat that process over and over until you get to the last house. And at the end of the day, you say, well, it looks like 123 Main Street was your favorite house. So right there from the house, you call the listing agent, find out if the home is still available. Let's go back to the office and get this property written up before somebody else gets it. My biggest aha out of this came when I was out with one of my first-time buyer families, and we drove up to the first house, and my buyer said, I don't even want to go in that one. What he ended up telling me at the end of that trip was, Sean, what I want you to do is print me out a list of every home that matches my criteria. I'm going to drive by those homes and I'll tell you which ones I want to see. Aha. Hey, thanks for watching KW Connect and make it a great day.
All right, so I don't know what your ahas are from that, but you know, that's very critical, and that is letting them take control of seeing the houses and eliminating what is not going to work for them. And then we're just going to go and focus on the ones that possibly will work for you. So we don't, sorry, trying to get this, y'all know me and this. Okay, so we don't want to, I can't get into large view. We don't want to make decisions for them. We need for them to make their own decisions as to what's going to work for them. Okay, so converting buyer leads. Do your market research. You need to make sure that you're doing your market research and you know what the market is doing. So if they say, I like this home, and now you should already have an idea as to what their market is, especially if you know the areas that they're interested in anyway. You should have already done some type of a market analysis. But now that you have a specific home in a specific neighborhood, then you want to go back to your office and do an analysis to see what's going to be the best price point. I do not give the buyers a price to offer for a home. What I do is I allow the buyer to, I give them a price range. And then I ask them, you know, what do they feel comfortable with as far as the range that I give them. But I don't give them a price and tell them this is the price you should offer. So I may tell them, well, based upon my market analysis, it looks like, see, the house is priced at 225,000. Based upon my market analysis, this house is really sitting at somewhere between 220 and 235. So anything in between there is a good offer. And then I let them decide what they want to do within that price point, still guiding them and coaching them, but they have to make that decision because it's their home and they have to feel comfortable knowing that they were not persuaded into spending more than what they wanted to spend on the house. Okay. If your buyers do not want to make an offer on any of the properties that you show, make sure you understand why. Then be sure to schedule the next appointment before you say goodbye, even if you have nothing lined up to show yet. Never leave an appointment without scheduling the next appointment. So if they say, no, we don't like any of these houses, like, okay, well, I'm going to go back and do some more research, and you do your research as well. And let's get together again. Let's say today is Tuesday, today's Friday. So let's plan to go ahead and meet up again on Tuesday and see what else we can come up with. And now between now and Tuesday, you want to be hustling and trying to find a house to show them on Tuesday. Okay. And if Tuesday comes and there's still nothing new on the market to show them, then you still want to keep that appointment, even if it's a virtual appointment, but you want to keep that appointment and communicating with them and just checking in with them. Hey, did you all find anything? I've been looking and haven't found anything new yet. But the house at 123 Main Street is still available. Do you want to go back and take a second look to see if that's, you know, or are you sure that that's not the house for you? Are you interested in seeing any of the houses that we saw last week? Are you interested in seeing any of them again? You know, you still want to keep your appointment. You want to make contact with them. So a script for setting that next appointment could be, Mr. Ms. Buyer, before we part company, let's get our calendars and set up our next meeting to look for that home that you want to buy. If nothing worth seeing has hit the market by Friday, I will call you and we'll reschedule for the next Saturday. Okay, so they're saying if nothing hits the market, then at least call them and say, hey, there's nothing new out there. But my thing is, there's nothing new out here. So, you know, did you want to revisit anything we've already seen? Or do you want to still wait to see if something new comes on the market? That's the way I handle that. Okay. Once you have seen the best houses that meet the buyer's criteria, you may have to help your buyers overcome buyer reluctance. It's a common issue many people experience when they are suddenly faced with the reality of making an offer for one of the greatest financial investments of their lives, especially if they are a first-time home buyer. Your job is not to try and sell your buyers a home that isn't right for them, but it is your job to help them recognize when a home fits their needs, their wants, and their values. When buyers are sure they like a house but are reluctant to take the next step to make an offer, reassure them that the simple step of making an offer is not as binding as they may think. Okay. So the objection could be, what if prices drop? Well, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, are you most concerned about the price of the home or the monthly payment on the mortgage? Of course, the monthly payment. I would have to agree with you. Let me ask you another question. Do interest rates generally go up faster than home prices come down? What do you think? The interest rates definitely do go up faster than the prices of homes coming down. Yes, no doubt about it. In fact, interest rates could rise 1% tomorrow, right? Well, home prices would have to come down 10% to make up for a 1% rise in interest rates. So if you are looking for a $200,000 home, Do you think interest rates might go up 1% before home prices come down $20,000 in your price range? Definitely, the interest rates would go up quicker than the house price would come down. So let's do the right thing and make an offer today before interest rates go up. Okay, that's just one of the objection handlers that you can use. If we want to sleep on it, they may say, well, we want to sleep on it. Well, that sounds good. I'll call you. I'll call the listing agent, because sleeping on it, the house could go under contract. It's just like you like it, somebody else likes it. And so they may be going ahead and putting in their offer while you're sleeping on it, and you could miss out. So how badly do you really want this house? Okay. If you have shown more than the average number of homes and your buyers have not made an offer, it is time to go back to the drawing board. It's time to have to sit down and powwow and chat with them. Own it. Whatever the issue was, now it's time for you to rectify the situation. Sit down with your buyers back at the office and review your needs analysis. Perhaps there were things you did not uncover the first time. Get on the MLS together and refine your search. When a new set of homes comes up, make appointments to see them immediately, okay? So if you've been showing houses, and nothing is, they're not willing to put in an offer, and you're showing them houses that are meeting their needs analysis, then it's time to have a sit down and own it. Just, somewhere I missed something. Apparently somewhere I missed something. That's a conversation you can have with them. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, it appears that maybe I missed something in our original buyer consultation, and I would like to be able to sit down with you to figure out what it is that I'm missing, because so that we can make sure that we're finding you the right house, because somehow we're missing something. And I just need to make sure that I'm gearing my search based upon your needs, and I didn't miss out on something. Okay, so get to the bottom line with your buyers. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, what are you looking for that doesn't, what you are looking for doesn't exist? So we have to make a decision. You can step into a higher price point, you can adjust your expectations, or you can step away from the home buying process for a year and see what happens. What's the best course of action for you? If they're willing to adjust their expectations, do a search. If not, recategorize them as a low priority buyer and stop devoting your showing time to them. Keep them on your campaign, keep sending them houses, and tell them to get in touch with you if a property eventually comes on the market that they would like to see. Okay, so you don't want to just stop altogether. You want to continue to stay in communication with them, keep them on that automatic campaign where they're automatically getting listings. I have a buyer, my same buyer that's in that lower price point, and we've not seen a house yet. I've sent her houses. She has sent me houses that she's found on Zillow and Trulia and other avenues. And I have her on the automatic campaign, but then every once in a while I'm still manually looking in the MLS to see if I missed something, if there's something, that I didn't put in her search criteria. And of course, she's sending me houses in Anniston and Jackson and all. And I've scheduled tours with her, but we have not yet gone to look at a house. We have not yet looked at a house, and it's been about 2 months now. I'm almost convinced that she's really scared to step into the buying process, step into the process for real, because there have been houses that were pretty much move-in ready. She may have had to paint something, or she may have had to have the carpet steam cleaned or something. But at that price point, I told her, I said, it's going to be hard to find a move-in ready, immaculate, perfectly renovated home. And you have to be ready. You have to be on it. Like, if we're going to do it, if we find it, you have to be ready to move. But when I have found some for her, but when I call her and I tell her, hey, I found this house for you and I think it's going to be great, and I just emailed it to you, and she opens it up and says, oh, this is nice. And I said, what time today do you want to go see it? Oh, well, I'm not going to be available till tomorrow. Well, by tomorrow, okay. I said, these houses are selling quickly. I know, but I just can't go today. Okay. So I scheduled it for the next day, but it always sells before she gets to go and see it. So these things happen. There's nothing you can do about it. But she's one that I'm probably getting ready to put her on a lower priority on my list so I can invest that time with my buyers who are ready. Okay, this is another activity with your partner. Practice the scripts on the previous pages, taking turns being the agent and the buyer. So these scripts here that we have, pages. Is that one too? So it looks like probably like page 27, 28, 29. Pages 27 through 29 have some objection handlers, some scripts that you all can practice. Again, if you have script and role play partners that you've already partnered with throughout this Ignite training, then you and your partner get together over the weekend, if at all possible, or at least before your next class, and practice some of these scripts. Again, these activities are the things that are going to grow your business. Sitting here watching the videos, sitting in the classroom, getting all the information, taking notes, all of that is good. But if you're not doing the activities, then you're not growing your business. And a business that doesn't grow will eventually die. Okay. Then write down your ahas from the activity. Once you finish the activity, write down your ahas individually, and then share with your partner what your ahas or your takeaways were from the activity. Okay. We're going to take another 5-minute break. Okay, so we'll be back at 11, let's say 11, okay, 11:13. Because I don't want to take too much more time because we only got about 45 more minutes left and we still got another lesson to go through. So 5-minute break, I will be back.